Hi everyone, it's Nina today, and I'm going to do the tarot card reading for the zodiac sign of Gemini. So I pre-shuffle the cards, and I'm getting that you and someone had a fight or a falling out. You were getting along well, and then something happened that made you fall apart. This card is about conflicts between people or breakups, or you decide that you don't want to talk anymore, or you unfriend each other, or you don't want to be friends again in real life. But it's not a toxic argument, it's more about a battle of egos. The both of you could be quite proud people, quite independent people, and nobody was backing down. Like, it was clash of personalities. Right down at the bottom, I'm getting the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands. So, both quite independent, strong, and passionate individuals. If they work their issues and they agree to work together, these two can be a power couple because both of them have the passion and the confidence and the independence to chase their own goals in life. And they can kind of complement each other rather than clash and going against each other. So both are very fiery and feisty. He wants to be the leader, he wants to be going 10 steps ahead of everyone else in his field. This could be fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. And the Queen of Wands is also quite feisty in her own feminine way. So she also tries to be always ahead of the people who are around her. So she's not a follower, she's an independent thinker and independently taking actions and decisions in her life. So if these two manage to work together or communicate, this is communication. If they manage to communicate, then they can work together and they can first work through the issues of this clash of personalities, clash of egos. I think both of them could be hot tempered, like hot headed people, but this is part of their nature. Like, both of them are fiery. So, both of them are born to be leaders, both of them want to be progressive and successful. Both of them have very strong and stubborn personalities. So, that's where this conflict came from, that nobody was ready to compromise. Nobody wanted things to be done the other person's way. So both wanted to lead the way in their own way instead of kind of linking together and making it work together. They were clashing. So after this clash and separation, you had a lot of time to think about it. It could be you, or it could be both of you. It could be them. So the energies are vice versa, but somebody had a very long time to contemplate, to spend in their own, environment, peace and quiet and solitude and privacy, so they can gather their thoughts together and they can contemplate how this conflict happened. It could have happened very quickly and very unexpectedly. So neither of you was expecting this to come to such a, like, a butt head kind of situation. These are like, I'm right, you wrong, and this one says I'm right but you wrong, and they don't agree, they just fight. And then this one is like, all right, then I don't want to talk to you, and this one is like, back off, I don't want to talk to you neither. Is that kind of stubborn argument out of stubbornness rather than something negative like toxic or demeaning, okay? Because it's only once. And then you had long time to think about what was going on, how this really happened. Like, you weren't expecting it to happen. Because I feel at the beginning you really got on very well. Because both are fun, both are passionate, both have a lot of energy. Um, the Queen of Wands is a force on her own. Like, she's a league on her own type of woman. She doesn't need a boss. She doesn't need a daddy figure. She doesn't need to be submissive to someone. She's just her own kind of, her own boss on her own right. And this guy is a little bit ego driven, especially if he's Leo, or any fire signs, he likes to be admired. He likes to be told how awesome, fabulous, and amazing, and strong, and handsome he is. So I think you two kind of link together, but what he wasn't expecting it to happen is that this woman will be way too independent and independently thinking, independently doing things, chasing her own goals, putting her own priorities first. So she's not meek, submissive type that will boost and nurture his own ego, and then he won't be doing anything for her. Okay, so this type of man could be a little bit too full of himself sometimes. He's also quite attractive figure as well. The ones are usually quite attractive people, like they're physically active, physically uh handsome, beautiful. They have this kind of passionate, feisty energy about them that makes them attractive to the opposite gender. So you have to think about, and I'm getting that there was a lot of anxiety going on, that somebody was overthinking the situation. Maybe they were thinking this is not going to work out, it's just a little bit too good to be true, or it's going too fast. You got, I feel, us at the moment you've met, like the first moment you've met, you really, really got on well. Like you have this connection, both of you really click together. You can see on this card how they're meeting and they both gazing in each other's eyes and they're sharing their cups, which represents their hearts and their emotions. And both of you had very much like mirror image kind of connection, that she saw a part of herself in his eyes, in him, and he saw part of himself in her. So these two are the kindred spirits, the soulmates, the friends, the ones that connect uh, perfectly fine. Like they just feel so comfortable with each other. And sometimes they are really on the same page, like emotionally they're on the same page, and mentally they're on the same page, but they find a mirror image of each other in the other. Okay, so also this card means a very close emotional bond, and your trust to each other was an emotional level, was like instant connection, instant trust, or instant union. It just came together very quickly. Okay, and then I'm getting the some anxiety was kicking in. It wasn't something too bad, but somebody was really prone to overthinking, over worrying. They were thinking, what if this is not true? What if I'm being led on? Or what if it doesn't work out? Somebody wasn't very sure about it, and they took a little step back, away from all this very dynamic, exciting energy that these two create. Because these are two very passionate people. Like when they come together, they create energy, they create chemistry, they create this electrifying connection between each other. They could have been really sweet. This is a sweet kind of connection. Like, look at the faces or smiles. Um, it's not exactly passionate on this level, but is innocent and is trusting, and it's also very easily flowing, easily connecting with each other. Okay, you could have had a lot of things that in common, that you had a lot to talk about. I feel this was more like a friendly platonic connection, but you also had a lot of sparks going on between both of you, like passionate sparks, because she's quite attractive and he's quite handsome, so you go like you felt the physical attraction towards each other, and also your energies the same. Is he's fire and she's fire, like two fires together create even bigger fire. So she's a league on her own. She burns her own strong fire in life. He's also a fire and league on his own. He burns a very strong fire. But when they connect together, they create they create fireworks, like amazing, like a volcano erupting kind of fire. Okay. So right here, I'm saying that somebody had a lot to overthink, and somebody's kind of anxiety kicked in a little bit, because they felt something wasn't right, you know. This is the thief, the liar, the deceiver, the cheat, the one who doesn't add on. Okay, so you could have felt this amazing energy between each other. You could have spoken very nicely, very softly. Kind of, you could have been making friends, like getting to know each other, but you already felt that this is going to be an easygoing kind of connection. And then suddenly you felt or you realized that it wasn't all the way you were thinking that it would be, that there was something hidden from you. Whether this person didn't tell you the whole truth about themselves, or they were hiding something they were not very proud of, I don't think this person had a kind of malicious intention to deceive. I think they were presenting themselves as the king of wands, like this successful, strong, handsome, awesome kind of guy, but he had some secrets. He had some skeletons in his wardrobe, so he did not tell you about everything. And you could have sensed that, like, two and two don't add together with him, that despite all that he's saying to you, there are inconsistencies, or he says something, then he doesn't follow through with it, or his attention suddenly gets distracted away from you towards something else or someone else, and you're starting to think, is he just messing me about until he has some other interests? You know, it could have been this coming very close together, creating this beautiful bond, and then suddenly his attention is not on you, it's on someone else, and you thinking, is he sneaking out like to see somebody else, or is he chatting with somebody else? Or if he had free time at the weekend, and then he didn't have free time at the weekend, you thinking, so what took that time? You know, what is he busy with? If he doesn't, if he initially says that he has time to see you at the weekend, and then suddenly he doesn't have time to see you at the weekend, then something's not right. Like, how come all of a sudden you don't have a time? And you could have felt some sneaky stuff going on with this guy. So I'm not getting any other negative cards in this reading, so I don't think that was something bad. I don't think he was cheating on you. I don't think he was double timing you, or he was talking to other girls, or he was arranging dates with somebody else. I think whatever he had to hide was something to do with his own personal life, that he didn't want you to know everything about him, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen him as this king of wands, as this quite successful and strong and confident type of guy. But whatever he was hiding, it created mistrust between both of you, and from creating the initial trust and bond, you kind of came to some clash here, to some fight. It's verbal, it's not physical, but it's just like you didn't get on after this. You didn't want to listen to them because you didn't believe what they were saying anymore. Because of these inconsistencies, you stopped trusting this person. You started overthinking and overthinking them, and questioning the whole situation, questioning their words, questioning their motives, their intentions, like what is going on here, like it doesn't add up. And I also feel that somebody very quietly sneaked out, like almost like ghosted, disappeared into the darkness, like this thief is disappearing very quietly. You can see that he's tiptoeing away from something, and he doesn't want to be found out whatever he's doing. So there was some sneakiness going on, which caused lack of trust between both of you. So this card means communication, messages, talking. The communication comes from this direction towards this direction. So the communication will come from the King of Wands towards the Queen of Wands. So you could, if you're a woman, if this card is you, then the guy that you are dealing with, the guy that you are thinking and you doubting his intentions, he will be the one to communicate with you first, because he is the one who is sending the messages that way. towards her. So he's sitting here and he's thinking, now, how do I do that? What do I do next? This is somebody who is a visionary. They see a situation far ahead, like the development of the situation is being developed like ahead in time. They visualize something, they arrange something, and when it's the time to take action, he goes for it. This energy is fire, so once the fire starts, you can't stop it easily. So this king of wands is thinking to communicate something clearly with her, or to start talking again, because these are a lot of messages here that go back and forth, back and forth. So he could initiate contact, he could send her the first message, and then she will respond, like she'll send another one towards him, then he'll send another one, then she'll send another one. So this is like back and forth kind of communication that is consistent, that is like straightforward, is every day. So you're just keeping each other updated, keeping each other in touch. So you don't have this like overthinking kind of situation. See, that one is thinking and worrying. That one is taking time away from everything to think. He's not exactly worried, but he's contemplating about it. So he's like quiet, non communicative, private, solitary, because he needs to get things in his mind. He needs to arrange things in his mind and to come to a conclusion. And because you didn't have that ongoing communication with him in the past, that created some kind of anxiety, whether he was lying to you, whether he has been a cheat or manipulator or trickster. This is the con artist, the fake, somebody who makes false statements to get something. So this guy used some kind of trickery and treachery. Look at his face. He's like lying his way through until he gets something, and it's almost like he's stealing it because it's not meant for him. If he's using trickery and deception to get something out of you, then he's a thief, because it doesn't belong to him, because you haven't given it um wholeheartedly and willingly. He in a way tricked you. But I think this is the anxiety here, whether this guy has stolen something. Not something material. I don't think it was a material thing. He could have stolen your time, he could have stolen, maybe with his false statements and false impressions that he created, he could have caused moral damage or emotional damage. He did take something of you, metaphorically speaking, but something that it wasn't meant for him if he used treachery, okay? So I think you were overthinking about it. And the only way to stop this overthinking and is to stop thinking that he's a liar and he's a cheat and he's a deceiver and he goes and he chats with other people is when he makes himself clear, when he communicates clearly. And then this woman will understand. So both of these cards are upright. See? Also, this card is upright, and that's what I'm thinking is that this whole situation either is not what it seems. It could be a product of somebody's negative thinking or somebody's like anxiety or stress levels when they imagine the worst case scenario or they imagine the worst outcome because their mind is tired of worrying. Because when the cards are upright, it means there is nothing that bad in that situation. Even if he didn't tell you everything, maybe he just wants to keep it for later. Maybe he has some things that he doesn't feel good about sharing. Do you mean like it doesn't have to be that he has some ill intention towards fooling you about, to use you or to deceive you or to steal something that is not for him? Otherwise, okay? So King of Wands is going to seek contact with the Queen of Wands because, do you know why? Because he likes her very much. Like she's very passionate, attractive, sexy, quite confident type, energetic, and she matches his energy perfectly. And this is the kind of woman that he likes because he's a man who's born a leader. So he always has the next challenge, the next ambition that he wants to fulfill, the next goal that he wants to achieve. And he doesn't want a woman who is clingy or codependent or whiny or submissive, that kind of woman, because she would have dragged him down. Like, he would always have to have attention for her. He would always have to explain things to her so she doesn't get upset. And this one just goes and does things on her own. Like, she doesn't need explanations. She's just too busy to listen to all this. So that's why I'm getting is some kind of contact will happen here between these two, and they will be talking very clearly, and they will be renewing their connection and their communication together.